Myself, Professor Rakesh Patil from the Department of Civil Engineering, KLS VDIT Halyad. I welcome you to the lecture series on Engineering Geology. The subject code is 18CV36, third semester, and today we are going to discuss about module number 2 and lecture number 11. Before starting with the today's topic, I would like to just brush up the things which we have discussed in the last previous class. In previous class, we have discussed the petrology, introduction to the petrology and types of rocks and the importance of the rocks in the construction field. In today's class, we are going to discuss igneous rocks and their importance in construction field. As we all know, igneous means it's nothing but it's a hot molten material which is present inside the earth crust and some part of the surface, on the surface. Igneous name itself only described as the fire, hot, which is derived from the magma or lavas. So let's see in today's class what type of rocks are there in igneous and what is the use of those rocks in the construction field. Rocks, before starting with the igneous rocks, just define the rocks. Rocks is nothing but it's an aggregation of the minerals. They form major part of the earth crust. Rocks are majorly divided into three types, that is namely igneous, sedimentary and metamorphic. In this diagram you can see how igneous rocks forms. This is the lava which forms on the earth crust. This is a magma. When magma comes out on the earth's surface, it forms the new type of rock, that is basalt rock. Or else you can say extrusive rocks. If rocks forms beneath the surface, then it is called as intrusive rocks. If rocks forms on the earth's surface, then it is called as extrusive rocks, extrusive igneous rocks. So what is igneous rock? Igneous rocks are found by cooling and solidification of magma. Magma is a hot, viscous, siliceous melts containing water vapor and gases. It comes from great depth below the earth's surface. It's mainly composed of oxides, silicates, aluminum, iron, magnesium, potassium. When magma comes upon the surface, it's called as lava. You can see in this diagram, this magma when it travels from the subsurface to surface, then it explodes on the earth's surface, then it is called as lava. If magma is present inside the earth crust, then it's called as magma. When same magma comes outside the surface, then it's called as lava. So what is the engineering properties are present in this particular magma and lava? Basically oxides, silicates, aluminum, iron, magnesium, potassium. So what is the use of this magnesium, silicates, oxides and all the things? These are indirectly contributing to the construction field. Like iron is helpful to manufacture the steel. Then silicates are helpful to the presence of the quartz, glass industries, that all the things. Like that, each and every elements have a different usages for the construction field. So these ore forming minerals are helpful to understand the manufacturing of the some construction materials. So what is this igneous rock composes? It composes acid magma, basic magma. Acid magma is rich with a silica, potassium and poor in a calcium, magnesium and iron. Whereas basic magma is rich with a calcium, iron, magnesium. Whereas it poor with the silicates and potassium. Now, what is this uses of acid magma and basic magma? When we say it is acid magma and when we say it basic magma, when this basic magma is divided into three types, that is ultra basic rock, basic rock and intermediate rock. Ultra basic rocks are nothing but which contains less than 45% of silica. Silica means quartz. Quartz is nothing but it's a mineral which is having a hard in nature. Example, gabbro. Basic rock which contain 45 to 55% of silica. Example, basalt. In this basalt, the silica percentage will be 45 to 55%. Means quartz is present in that much ranges. Intermediate rock which contains silica more than 55 to 65%. Example, granite. In acid rock, the silica contains more than 65%. Example, dolerite. This basalt, granite, dolerite, these are helpful for the construction field. Basically, for the foundation. Igneous rocks are also classified as oversaturated, saturated and undersaturated rocks. When we say it is oversaturated, when it contains high amount of silica and abundant in the quartz and alkali feldspars. Example is granite. In granite, almost having 65% of silica, which is abundant in quartz and which also contains alkali feldspar. That's why that a typical granite rock will be used for the foundation purpose, because it has a good type of silica as well as good type of quartz which can bear maximum load on that particular rock surface. Saturated means contains sufficient amount of silica and do not contain quartz. Example, basalt. In basalt rock, silica may be present, but it does not contain quartz type of silicates. Next is undersaturated, which contain less silica and high alkali and aluminum oxides. Example, dolerite. Types of igneous rock. In types of igneous rock, we have two types of igneous rock, that is extrusive igneous rock, intrusive igneous rocks. Again, intrusive igneous rock have two types of intrusive igneous rocks, that is plutonic igneous rock and hypobasal igneous rocks. Extrusive means when lava cools down or solidifies, it gives rise to a rock, that is extrusive. Intrusive means which are beneath the earth surface and which when magma cools down, it gives rise to a different type of rock there. In intrusive, there are two types are there, plutonic and hypobasal rocks. Now, what is the texture and what is the importance of texture in construction field? Texture is nothing but as a size, shape and arrangement of a mineral grains in a rock. In generally, the slower cooling or solidification of magma shows coarser grain rocks. If you have good type of texture and good type of shape and size or arrangement of a minerals, that means the rock is hard in nature. You can see in this. This is called good type of texture. Example is granite. This is a low texture where the arrangement of minerals are very compacted and fine material. So, what type of textures or crystals are good for the which are helpful for the construction? Well developed crystal space of grains are called euhedral. Partially developed crystal space called as subhedral. The crystal face are absent, such as grains of are called as anhedral. You can see in this particular diagrams. These are called as well developed or partially developed. This is well developed and this is partially developed. Yes. There are some volcanic rocks are there which shows some of the vesicles. Vesicles means the holes on the rocks, which are very helpful for the in igneous rock. These rocks are very much essential for the porosity and permeability contents. For example, volcanic rocks which have a glassy matrix often contains gas cavities called vesicles. You can see these holes or openings are present in the rocks. In igneous, basically igneous rocks are basically igneous rocks are called as bad aquifers because it doesn't have holes. But when it comes to holes, the vesicle textures are very good at the porosity and permeability, means which contains waters. But if you compare this igneous rock with a sedimentary rock, then igneous rock have a very less porosity permeability capacities. Next one texture is vesicular structures. Vesicular structures, basically it contains a large lava contains gases, volatiles. These gases escapes from in atmosphere, and away from which these gases are escaped keeps the cavity in the form of vesicles. You can see in this particular diagrams. These are called amygdalites. These are called as vesicles. These two points are called as openings are called as vesicles. Vesicles means holes. Amygdalite means these holes are filled with some other material. Another one texture is there, that is called as xenolite texture. Yes, it's a very important topic for the civil engineers. Forms of igneous bodies. There are two bodies are there, extrusive body and intrusive body. Extrusive bodies are nothing but it's which are exposed on the earth surface. These are formed by when magma reaches to the earth surface and get solidification. Example, lava flows. Intrusive igneous rocks are those formed by consolidation of magma at the same depth below the earth surface. Such bodies shows variation in their shape and size. Again, intrusive igneous rocks are divided into two types, that is concordant and discordant. Here, this entire region is called as intrusive. This entire region is called as extrusive. The same magma which travels from the subsurface to surface and explodes and lies down to the earth surface and forms a new type of rock, that is called as extrusive. Example is basalt rock. When this magma only crystallized and solidified, it is called as intrusive. In this intrusive only we have two types, discordant and concordant. Discordant means which cuts the rocks and travels. Concordant means which lies down parallelly with the rocks, horizontally. Discordant means horizontal travel. Vertical travel. Horizontal travel means concordance. Discordance bodies are nothing but which cuts through the over the lying rock strata. Example, batholith, stock and dikes. Concordant means which lies between the two beds. Example, sill, lapolith, laccoliths. Here you can see. This is a magma chamber. When the magma starts traveling vertically, it is called as discordant. When magma travels perpendicularly, vertically, then it is called as, horizontally, then it is called as concordant. Concordant means which lies between two layers. Discordance means which cuts the rocks. You can see here. This is a sill. This is a dike. Why it is sill? Because it is lying between the two layers. This is a dike. Why it is dike? Which is cutting the rocks. This is volcanic neck, and this is laccolith. So what is volcanic necks? Shallow intrusive formed when magma solidified in the throat of the volcanoes. What is a dike? Dike is nothing but it's a tabular intrusive structure that cuts across any layering in the country rock. Country rock means which already present. Sills, tabular intrusive structure that parallel lying in the country rocks. Plutons are nothing but a large bulb shaped intrusive body forms of a coarse grained igneous rock, commonly granitics. Then what is laccolith? It's a mushroom shaped body of a igneous rock with a flat bottom and dome at the top. It is parallel to the layers. You can see here. This is a dike, this is sill, this is plutons, this is laccoliths. So what is the use of this particular structures in civil engineering? When you construct anything like dams, tunnels or underground constructions, these structures may plays a very important role to upset your structures. So what is a discordant body like? Dike. Dikes are very small igneous intrusives. You can see here. This is a one layer and this is a one layer, which is this entirely. Once upon a time, it entirely one layer. This dike. What is dike is doing? It's cutting the rock and traveling further. Intrusive cut across the rock into which the magma intrudes. They are commonly sheet-like, only few meters wide, but probably laterally extensive, thick of magma invades vertical or near vertical fracture in the rocks. Yes, you can see this. This is a granite dome that is called batholiths. Batholiths are nothing but it's a huge amount of stocks are present in the inside the earth crust. Example for batholith is Shravanbelagol Gomteshwar Murti will be you can take as a batholith example. Yes, you can see in this. Here, when as a civil engineer, when you construct anything inside the subsurface like tunnels, bridges, columns, dams, that time these particular structures may upset your construction areas because these are primary rocks. When it is primary rocks, then obviously what will happen after some times these structures may structures may end your construction sites because the lateral movement will be there, and with the lateral movement what will happen, it may extend their structures to the further. You can see here, this is the one watershed body. What happens after some times, the magma again start melting there because it's primary, right? So what will happen after some times, again the magma start traveling in the same chamber, so the entire area may get upset in that upcoming days. Yes, you can see how in nature it look like. You can't differentiate between the layers, but this is called as sill. So what will happen as a civil engineer, if you are constructing anything on this particular layer, so what will happen, this chamber will be opened one, or else it is this is a very recent rock layer compared with this one. So what will happen, this particular sill is not having a mostly not having a compacted region. So when you construct anything on this particular region, what may happens? This particular layer does not take the strength what older rocks takes. This is a younger rock, this is the older rock. So whatever you construct on this particular region, they may upset your structures. So that is a very important as a civil engineering point of view. So that's all from the igneous rock. In today's class, in igneous rock, we have discussed how the igneous bodies can be look like. For the example, for the igneous rocks, granite, basalt, dolerite, this may be the example for the suitable for the construction. Granites are used for the flooring purpose and foundation purpose, whereas basalt rocks are used for the manufacturing of aggregates, construction of highways, roads and aggregates. Then dolerites, majorly dolerites are used for the decorative purpose. Thank you very much. In next class, we will see how sedimentary rock presents are there and there's different structures. Thank you very much.